Welcome to Total Fitheads.
Serious fitness for not so serious people. Hey Fitheads, we're bringing you another Max Alley episode. I mean, Alley Max episode. Obviously, I come first.
Alphabetically is probably the only time when you would come first. And
All right. What about a flexibility contest?
Who was I talking to that day? Flexibility. Yes, very, very good, very good. I was talking to my mom about getting the COVID vaccine, and she was like all psyched because she just got it actually. Shout out to my mom for being vaccinated. Yep. She was like, when are you going to get it? I was like, I am about as last place as you could possibly imagine. I work from home. I don't work in healthcare. My last name starts with a W. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't be further back of the line.
You virile young man, you.
Yeah,
need it.
I'm under 65, 75, whatever the hell it is. It's shady.
All right. So today it's just us because we wanted to talk through all of our fails. Feel like we curate heavily what goes on Instagram, and well, I've definitely failed on YouTube, but you're getting a good view of us seeming really at our peak. And we certainly have screwed up and given up on things and not succeeded. And so I figured we'd talk about that because it is February 2nd, which is statistically the day that everyone gives up on their New Year's resolution, which Max and I scientifically made up before we started filming this. but it seems about right.
Yeah, it sounds about right. People stick with stuff. Although I stuck with my meditation last year for the whole year. And
so
now
impressive.
I'm like, whatever.
Is that your first thing? How's
my first that's my New Year's resolution this year, is to stop meditating. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all this mindfulness.
You like start going into
being present in the moment. No, cut it out.
Quick, think about the future. Quick, get anxious. Wow. Yeah.
All right. So what was yours? What was your first one?
Well, speaking of giving up on New Year's resolutions, I have yet to sign up for Kabuki Strength. On our last episode, when we talked about what our goals are, I was like, I'm doing this, and I said it to everyone, and that's a part of things that I've talked about on my channel, is that like you shouldn't say your goals because you get the same kind of chemical release as if you'd actually done them, and people support you, and then you're way less likely to actually do them. So I'm not blaming the fact that we talked about it. I'm mostly blaming the fact that I didn't want to be one of those people that are like, it's January, I'm gonna get on a new training program, and so I'm gonna join in February. It's not over, so I guess I could fail.
So I guess what you're saying is I should apologize to you that I ruined your New Year's resolution by you telling me about it. Sorry. I've heard both sides of that, where people say like you should make your goals loud and clear to everybody in your personal life, or if you're on the internet in your internet life or whatever, because it makes you accountable. It'll have you stick to things. But I've heard the same thing that chemically telling someone, oh, I think I'm going to write a screenplay or whatever, your brain gives, and I forget what it is, but I think it's like a portion of the same dopamine as actually doing it. And obviously that's a lot easier. I still haven't thought of a New Year's resolution. I can't come up with anything good. Maybe that'll be one.
Well, you were so my favorite one last year.
My favorite one is when you're like, my New Year's resolution is to be decisive. Is that a good idea, or do you think I should change it? Like, I can't. It's an old terrible joke, but I think about that all the time. I don't know why I had that one last year. Just like it had popped up so many times. I was just like, screw it. This is gonna be it this year.
So many people I respect, like leaders in the health and fitness field, all the way
all
to
fields.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Every field.
Every field imaginable. They're like, this is so important. And I did it for a year and I'm like, is it?
Dang. Wow. That is demotivating for me, because I'm still like previous year Max going, I really need to get on this, and I think I will soon. Yeah. Well, I gave it a whole 10 days, which sounds like absolute garbage compared to what you did.
At least you gave it a shot.
I mean, I guess. Yeah. Well, see, after 10 days, I was like, I don't know if this is working. I should probably give it more time. But
Hmm.
you did that for an entire year.
Yeah, and I was pretty good about it too. Because and the other day this is why I sort of brought it up because now we're in February because I kept meditating in January, but I would sort of like I wouldn't do it at the same time. I'd sort of do it while I was walking the dog, or it wouldn't be first thing in the morning, or I
Mhm.
wouldn't like sit there and formally and like really focus on doing it the way I had been for the last 10 months or whatever. For at least from March or April to the rest of the year, I was doing it every morning. After I made coffee, I would sit in a chair and really just do it and not sort of do it while I was doing something else. Really, I know but they say you can like do something simple, like take a walk or whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was doing that anyway. And so in January, I was sort of just doing it, whatever, just basically to keep the streak on my app going. And then
Wow.
I was like, what are you doing, dude? You're like not, you're sort of just going through the motions. You're not even like sitting down and focusing doing it. So then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like a couple of days off and sort of really stop and see how I feel. And then
You
if
just
I,
turned into a giant a-hole. You didn't realize how calm
yeah,
it had made you for a year.
revert or, yeah, exactly.
You should replace the meditation with something else for
Cigarettes.
the same amount of time, right? I was gonna say push-ups. That'd
Yeah,
be cool.
that'd be a
There,
good one.
when I first went to college, right by my dorm was a crosswalk that like took forever. You had to wait at it so long before the light would change,
Hmm.
and so first week I had a rock that I always carried with me, and I was like, every time I'm standing here, I'm gonna rub this rock, and by the end of college, I'm gonna have like this polished stone,
Oh,
right?
weird. Oh, like with a thing, not like with your thumb.
No, just my hand. Like
Oh
your
my
hand can
God.
even. Anyway, cut to a week later, and then
It's a
like
diamond.
everyone in college like taught me how to like go when the light hasn't changed, and so you never have to really wait at that
Oh.
light. And so there went my weird time spending meditation rock thing.
Work smarter, not harder. Isn't that
Yeah.
that's the lesson there?
So all that rock time went into schoolwork instead of making a nice polished rock.
Well, it could be worse. You
I
could have
think about
you could have a pearl, I guess. I don't know. Is
a
that how you make
pearl.
rocks? No.
Pearls are
Pearls are crabs, right? Clams? Clams. Whatever. It's the
clams.
ocean's disgusting.
Oh, the ocean is disgusting. This also reminds me of when I made this video about how I never close my cupboards because it saves me 3 seconds open, 3 seconds closed every day.
I know. Terrible concept, by the way. I
It's not
think
terrible. It's genius.
Brittany hates when cupboards are open. So if you think about it that way, the seconds that you're saving are
Yeah,
actually infuriating other people. You know what I mean?
sure.
It's a zero sum, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
a
yeah.
it's not a
Trade off.
totally pure intention there.
It came about because I was flushing my toilet and like it, you know how some of them you hold it down and it takes too long. Like I hadn't told my landlord to fix it yet, and I realized I spent a year, and it added up to about 6 straight days of holding down the plunger on my toilet.
Hmm.
That's
So what?
incredible.
You're wasting water.
I mean, wasting water, but also 6 of my days. What the heck?
Yeah, it's fun to. Those are fun to think about, like realizing that you can shave off a couple of minutes of your day that you don't even realize that you spend. My boss used to talk about that a lot. He would say like you never want a morning commute that's more than like an hour or whatever, or you minimize your morning commute as much as you can
Right.
because that's your tack it onto your work day, so you're not working 9 to 5, you're working
Right.
8 when you get in the car
Well, when you
to
get in the car, you listen to Total Fitheads, so that's you time.
sure, exactly. But the crazy thing is, what I was like, so what do you do? And he was like, oh, I just move all the time. I move next to my office wherever I am. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, it's sweet. So he moved like 3 times in 3 years or something like that. It was crazy.
Wow.
So if you
Well,
can swing it,
like in the lockdown, everybody's working from home. It's
right?
weird because I would expect to have so much more time. I'm still working have with zero time left over, even though we're not
Mhm.
going to events anymore. There's no like getting to
No, nothing.
stuff. Yeah. So I imagine some
S-
people, myself unincluded, are feeling that difference of not having to get to work.
Yeah, I thought about that too, actually. It's nice that there's no commute. I think what people are struggling, or something that I struggle with a lot, is um, I loved the feeling of going to a place. And
Hmm.
the example I gave was like you drive to the gym and then you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm in the mood to work out now. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people, that was that for exercise, for work. Like when I had my old office job, I'd go into the office and sit in my chair and crank. But you know, I couldn't do anything from the dining room of my apartment because I would, want to crack a beer, or like just like not
Yeah.
work, play with my dog or whatever. So I think like the getting into a mindset is, or having a place sort of dictate a mindset, is a funny little byproduct of a lot of these things. So anyway.
Yeah. What I've heard that if you ask people when they're most productive, they don't tell you when, they tell you where.
Oh, really? So when
Yeah.
are you most productive? Oh, when
They're
I'm
like,
at the office.
yeah, when I have my laptop in my house or whatever,
Weird.
yeah.
That is
When I go to
weird.
Starbucks. That's also why Starbucks is known as the third place. Like that's what they were going for, is that you have home and you have work, and then they wanted to be this other place that you could go to do X, whatever.
Yeah. Right when I moved to LA, the Starbucks near my house was filled with people writing screenplays. And I was like, oh, that wasn't just a funny thing that I heard. That's actually real. That's
Yeah.
okay, cool, 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 cool.
And now Starbucks are just home to tables with chairs upside down on top of them.
It's so depressing.
Someday.
Someday.
Mhm. All right, so what's yours?
Gym
You guys are,
fail.
yeah.
The first and most glaring fail, I think, for me was not stretching. I
Hmm.
I'm very inflexible physically and emotionally, but more so physically. And it has not quite gotten to the point where it's affected my workouts, but I can't do certain things. And I know it's because of my flexibility. And I will say that I played on actual sports teams in high school and college where we would have dedicated 15, 20 minutes every
Mhm.
single day of actual stretching. And I would stretch, I really would try, but it hurt. I don't know if my body's extra stiff or whatever, but I've never been able to touch my toes. My shoulders don't go, my shoulders don't work
Snatch grip.
right.
Uh-oh.
I cannot do an overhead press, for example, or
Yeah.
what am I saying? Yeah. I can do an overhead press with like a dumbbell, but if I do an overhead press with a barbell, I'm just holding it in front of
Oh,
me.
jeez.
It's brutal. It's brutal. I can't do a snatch with a barbell. I can't even use like a broomstick. I can't put
So,
my arms back there.
yeah. So you're saying that was the case even when you were working on it and stretching for wrestling.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah. I mean, there certainly is a genetic element to it. We
I
can't all
mean,
be
maybe I
Kaylee
wasn't
Maurer.
doing it. I know. Her Instagram just makes me feel fat and out of shape more than anything I've ever seen. It's
Makes me
insane.
feel like I'm gonna fall over just walking. I don't know how she's upside down all the time.
I know. I'm like, oh, I almost tripped getting out of bed. Let's see. Oh, yep, she's on one hand upside down on a hoverboard. Great. Cool, 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 cool. Yeah, and it was tough for wrestling too, because a lot of positions
Yeah, I would
after
think.
that it really helps to be really flexible. Like
Right.
and it would inform my ability to sort of compete and perform. Like I had to do different moves or like learn a new style because I knew I couldn't do this thing. I had to do that
Yeah.
thing. Like some people, um, like if somebody grabs your leg, I would have to, really sort of wrestle at his shoulder. And other people now, somebody grabs their leg and the guy just puts his foot out straight and he's doing a front split. Which is like a relatively common move now. It's a lot of people can do that. So I think it's been very frustrating. And I know like I sort of joke about it a lot because I am just so wildly inflexible. But I mean, I've worked at it and I still just, I don't know. I can't do it. Maybe I'm not working hard enough, or maybe I need to get some new tendons or ligaments or whatever, but
Tendons or ligaments.
you know, I just can't crack it.
Hmm.
It's embarrassing, and it's a real fail. That's for sure.
Well, I do want to say that I had on my list flexibility as well. And I knew it was going to be on yours. But like I
Whoa.
legitimately have it on
Yeah,
mine, and I
obviously.
know you see what me sit in a full split and go, "What?" And I am naturally like
Well, first of all, I see
compared
that, and
to
that is impressive. I will remind you that I am dating Brittany.
exactly. So I think this is just a lesson about comparing because I sit in a full split both sides a minute every night. I do like overhead work with a bar every night.
Hmm.
I lay on my so right. I do like cat camel. Like this is dedicated 10-15 minutes every night of stretching
Hmm.
for years. And I feel like it's not enough. Maybe I'm not doing
Now,
enough. Everything that you were saying about like, well, I'm just not there. Maybe it's
was
my
there a point when you like have you noticed a significant increase? Could you not do a split and then you could do a split?
no, it was like I mean, yes, that was what back when I was dancing, in high school
Yeah.
or whatever. But now with my 15-minute regimen, I haven't seen any like dramatic increase over the past couple of years, which
Hmm.
leads me to be like, well, I'm not doing it long enough. Kate, what
Well,
didn't
it's
Kaylee
possible
say?
you're
Like sit 10 minutes, or just watch TV in a split.
yeah.
Which, by the way, if anybody hasn't heard that episode, Kaylee Maurer is a gymnast. We had her on and we talked about that.
Yeah. And she's ridiculous. She's a Gumby
Yeah.
person.
But the point is, you don't feel like you're flexible enough, and compared to me, I don't feel like I'm flexible enough, and I'm compared to
That's
Kaylee.
good.
You know,
Great. I wonder what she feels like. She's just looking at us like we're a couple of broomsticks or whatever. Balsa wood people. I wonder if it is and I really hope not. And I don't think so because a lot of people have told me that you can get flexible. I will say that those people are already really flexible. So
Mhm.
it's like, what are we?
Kaylee did say she's not naturally flexible. She's got to work at it because she knows people that are even more naturally flexible than her. She compared to someone
Eh,
else.
I hope it's that you can do that. I worry that it's you have to start as a little kid. That would really, really suck. If you just like grew inflexible or whatever.
I mean, that's like a type of mindset that helps your practice and your learning. Like, if you believe that X is a gift, then you will never get any better. If you believe that X can just be improved through practice,
Hmm.
whether it's like intelligence or piano or
Hmm.
flexibility, these are two different types of people. You either think you're born with it or you can get it. And so if you think you're born with it, then
Yeah.
people that have that mindset are afraid to be wrong. They're afraid to try things where they'll fail because that means they're stupid. People that have the
Mm.
mindset of you can improve are happy to be wrong because they know they can improve,
Hmm.
and they take on other things, and they're okay with failing because they know that all it will take is practice time to get better.
Hmm.
So whether or not that's the case, you're better off in general having this improving mindset.
All right, I'll get back to stretching, but it's like laughable. And I guess what I'm saying, yes, I hear what you're saying. I believe that and I agree with that. But I get what I'm saying is I tried it hard for 20 minutes a day, every
Oh
day
wow.
for 8 years. You know what I mean? One way or another. And I just, I don't know. It's bad.
Dang. Dang. That's
It's
surprising.
bad.
See, all of these fails are just outside of your control.
Right. I
But
can't do anything about
there you go.
it.
My fail is not being a professional basketball player because I was born 5'2".
And how are you going to work on that?
Well, I have a growth mindset, so
I have a
I'm taking
racket, huh? Or
steroids.
yeah. Those upside down ankle things that you do on
Yeah, my mom does that. She loves it, swears by it.
really?
Hmm. Gravity boots or whatever.
Oh, she has the boots. She doesn't even have that like that tilting thing.
Yeah, it's a tilty thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
with her
yeah.
ankles in
Oof.
it. She's like, I could go longer when my ankles hurt.
Yeah, that's the limiting factor.
I don't
Thought
know.
your head might explode from all your
Yeah,
blood
right?
rushing you.
I could go longer, but I want to puke blood.
Yeah. I could go longer, but I don't want to.
Got a real fixed mindset here.
Ridiculous.
All right, so what's your next one?
Uh, I had a fail. Okay, I had a good one that was I tried to lose weight as specific as a diet. It's diet. My next fail is diet, but it's sort of a specific one. I thought I could lose weight simply by not eating anything. And it was a fail in a couple of ways. One is the biggest reason it was a fail is I didn't correctly identify what my goal was. Goal I thought my goal was to weigh the lightest on a scale. My goal in reality was to wrestle as well as I could at a certain weight class, period. So what I did was I didn't eat anything at all. I didn't drink anything at all. And guess what? I made weight, but I didn't have any energy, couldn't do anything. I wasn't strong. I wasn't like cognitively, I was messed up. Like I couldn't think right, and the reason was I was just eating nothing. And what I was eating wasn't even that great for losing weight. It was a tuna sandwich, half a tuna sandwich. It was disgusting. It made me unhappy that I was doing it. I was eating cold tuna in the dead of winter in Connecticut. So that's like 5 strikes already. You know what I mean?
Is there a reason why you landed on that?
Um, it was fish. It was high protein, sort of low carb. It was one of the only fish that I liked. I don't really like fish very much. I didn't realize how salty it was at the time. And salt like holds on to a lot of water weight, so it made all my other workouts really hard. Um, they served it in the cafeteria in college, and it was one of the healthiest ish things. They weren't serving steamed chicken and steamed vegetables. They would say like, okay, well, do you want a steak and cheese, or you know what I mean? It
Chicken
was like,
fingers.
right, exactly. So I'd have to sort of pick and choose what I was getting based on my meal plan. So I could get a tuna sandwich, and I didn't want to do like turkey or salami or ham or anything like that, because those salted meats, cured meats, and stuff like that really doesn't give me the right energy. I could tell it was too salty, or for some reason I couldn't connect that it was tuna was all equally as bad. And then this is actually kind of gross, but I would sometimes get a tuna melt with no cheese. So it was a hot tuna sandwich. It was fucking gross. But it was warm. And at that point in my life, I'm freezing cold because I have no body fat. And
Yikes.
it's,
Yeah.
again, 2 feet of snow. Shout out to New England, by the way. New England and New York are getting 13, 14 inches of snow right now. Or so heads up, how you doing? So that was a fail. It was a diet fail, but it was a fail in a couple of ways. One, I didn't even identify my goal. Two, uh, what I identified as my goal, I wasn't even doing it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a really just sort of a mismangle of the whole situation. And the next year, I was like,
So
screw it. I just went up a weight class, and I was smaller than everybody, but I ate within reason. I ate what I wanted. I had a lot of energy. I had a lot of strength. I was like excited to be there, and it made a world of difference. It made a huge, huge difference.
I'm
Now,
sure
the best,
mentally too, all of that time and energy that went into your fail.
so taxing, so tiring, and
Yeah.
it makes your sport drag. It makes you like forget what you're doing and why you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Um, like for example, when we were there, it's a winter sport. So when we were there over the winter, there was a couple other teams, obviously the hockey teams, but swim team was there also, and they burn a billion calories, because their sport is swimming a
Yeah,
lot. And even when
total
they're not
body.
swimming, they're in the pool, just. And so they would have tough practice, and then they would like crush dozens of pancakes and dozens of
Yeah.
dinners. You know what I mean? And so it was
And
it
they're supposed
was
to have body fat to keep them buoyant.
right. It was just very glaring to see how they were treating it and how I was treating it, and
Yeah.
thinking like, well, weight or calories burned is sort of an aspect of both of our sports, and you guys are doing this so much in a different way than I am than we are.
Yeah. And were there a lot of people like you? It's like stuck in that fail.
Yeah, there were, and that was another thing, is that like I didn't have any friends who knew any better. We all sort of thought that was the best way to do it. now, no, looking back on it, if I could just stick to boring steamed vegetables, steamed chicken, bland, obviously as bland as my half tuna sandwiches, but like, put some brown rice in there, have some sort of an energy carb, whatever, um, and not let the guy, not let my college make it because I knew they were putting in a bunch of stuff. It's like when we were talking about last time or two episodes ago, when like even getting together, you don't know what they're putting in there. They're putting in a bunch of sugar, butter, whatever, something to make it taste better. Whereas I should have been preparing all of my own food, so I knew
Right.
exactly what it was, and I could do portions that would fit me and give me energy to do stuff. So diet, but also identifying what you're really after. And I think that's something we talk about that a lot. It's kind of like one of the reasons we started this was we were talking about how like the number on your scale is so often not at all what's important to you. Why do people want to lose weight and lose pounds? Because they think it's going to make them happy or make them look better. But in reality, for a lot of people, muscle makes you look better, and so you can be the exact same weight and look twice as good or twice as bad or whatever. So
Right.
I think it's, yeah. So I had that as diet, but really it's identifying what you're after and why, I guess.
Yeah. Have you had a tuna sandwich since?
You know, it didn't ruin them as much as I thought.
Really?
But I certainly don't eat them as much anymore. I mean, it was a whole winter of just like screwing it up. And I remember very specifically, I had a match on like, usually you have a match every Saturday, every week. And then we had like an extra one on a Wednesday, and I was just totally thrown off. And so my weight was all messed up. I cut really poorly. And at one point in the match, I made weight, thank God. But at one point in the match, he like threw me. We sort of like both sort of fell, tumbled, but separately. And so I was like on my side, and I looked at him, and there was no pressure to stand up. And I was just sort of like, ugh. And I just like had this exhale of
Take
like,
your
I have
time.
no energy at all. And he looked at me like, what is wrong with this kid? I was like, this is gonna go great. I can't wait for the rest of this match.
Wow.
But it's really like I just have nothing in the tank. It was crazy. Like it was crazy that blatantly obvious that I had zero gas in my engine or whatever. Like it's glaring. And it's I encourage everybody to try it. Like try not eating, not drinking any water for a couple of days, and then do the same workout you did last week and see how much it affects you. It is crazy how much stuff like that affects you. And
Yeah.
it's hard to grasp, really.
I mean, even just the water, but I was still fed, would really mess with me.
Yeah. I mean, all of it does.
Whew. Dang. All right. Should we move on to my next fail?
What do we got?
This is also similar to your wrestling thing. Is that it was in my past? Well, I guess I was even younger than you. I stopped figure skating. I am not. I didn't go to the Olympics. What?
Ah, you blew it.
I mean, okay. So I just now realized when I said I didn't go to the Olympics that I would not be figure skating now had I succeeded at figure skating because I am entirely too old after age 12.
But you still missed the Olympics.
Right. So I missed the window. This is a fail from my past that I was nowhere near good enough at figure skating to be anywhere competitive
Mm-hmm.
or at least like recreationally successful on the whatever Disney on Ice. I
Scale. Yep.
probably do Disney on Ice now. I might join a cruise.
Depends on the character.
Yeah, right. I get to play like Geppetto. I'm trying to think of somebody old.
Oh, I was trying to think of somebody
Mrs.
in that
Potts,
big foam or that big fur outfit. So like you sort of just
the
glide
Beast.
along. Yeah. Mrs. Potts, yeah. Do you
Anyway,
remember that
what?
chip chat when I made that was one of the questions?
No, what?
You remember I had a show called Chip Chat and I made you
Of
take a
course.
chip and then
Yes.
answer questions, and one of the questions was in Beauty and the Beast, Mrs. Potts was head of the kitchen. She had a son named
Chip. Every answer to every question was chips.
I forgot
Wow.
about that. That was fun.
Genius. Good times. That's still on YouTube. Anybody wants to go
Chips.
see that? He made
Yeah.
his own talk show. I was his first guest. Honored, honestly.
One of three. Yeah. A whopping 3 episodes.
I'll come back if you want a fourth guest.
That was season one.
Season
That's a
one
fail. I never made season 2 of Chip
of
Chat.
Chip Chat. There's still time. Let's get it sponsored by Doritos.
Yeah. But anyway, so
Uh,
you quit figure skating. Why'd you quit
yeah.
figure skating? Did you just
Well, for
stop, or
another fail,
did they
actually.
tell you?
I didn't even include this one, but it was basically very clear that I either had to spend all of my time figure skating or all of my time dancing. I couldn't split the two anymore because it was at that age where like you better pick a thing and be real good at it. Turns out I was good at neither,
Yeah.
so dance is also a fail of mine. But yeah, I had to stop figure skating because it was like I was going 6 a.m. in the morning before school,
Yeah.
and then my dance classes were every night for because we were competing. I mean, I did compete in figure skating too, but like I was never like one of the good people my age, let
Hmm.
alone like a standout to be able to really make a career of it. And I spent a lot of time figure skating being fully aware of that.
Hmm.
Like
Just for love of the game.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, for a while, like towards the end there, it was like slogging along. I'm laying on the mat, not wanting to get up, kind of thing.
Now, okay, well, first of all, let me back up. I agree with that idea that you have to pick something and
Do you?
focus on it. What I'll tell you sort of anecdotally is in the summers in high school, I started going to wrestling. So I basically, let's just simplify this. I did soccer and wrestling. All right. And in the summers, I started going to camps and working out at colleges and stuff like that for wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back and I incrementally, but very, very for sure, got worse and worse at soccer
Mm.
and got better and better at wrestling. And I think it's whatever you do in the summer, you get better, and if you don't do your thing, piano, camping, knitting, soccer, whatever,
Knitting.
if you don't do that thing in the summer, you don't sort of keep getting better at a rate that will be measurable against other kids your age.
Hmm.
So I absolutely do sort of agree with that. uh, you also have to take other things into account, like, am I miserable doing this? My dad's dragging me around to basketball tournaments all summer, and I hate basketball. I'm just really tall, like there's all that stuff that goes into it. But I definitely remember being way worse at soccer than all my friends after 2 summers of not doing any summer soccer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
And being way better than my friends on the wrestling team who didn't go to the camps, who didn't work
Since
out with me, and whatever. And they couldn't understand it, and I couldn't understand it. And then eventually, I forget how I realized it. I'm sure my oh no, I do remember how it's a weird flex, but I wrestled the same kid 2 years in a row, and one year I sort of squeaked by, beat him in overtime, and the next year I like murdered him, pinned him, and I was like, that was
Summer camp.
weird. That guy was good. I don't know what the hell happened. And my dad was like, what do you mean what happened? You put in hours, you dummy. And I was like, huh. Oh yeah. just like, oh, I'm a dumb kid. I almost forgot. Yeah. You're right. You're right. But it is. I think you put in the hours. It's
And do you think that like picking a thing is really important specifically for this like physical stuff that we're talking about, sports and fitness, or across the board? Because I, as a generalist in my career, have always questioned, should I have just given up everything and played the piano
mhm.
instead of all of the stuff that I'm
No,
doing
I don't
now?
think that's. I think, well, to answer your question directly, physically, yes, I think it's pretty important when you're in middle school, high school, because you're still getting used to your body. Your body's your body's changing, but you're used to. You get off balance. You go through puberty. You're like way stronger or taller, or you got to relearn how to balance, I guess, or do stuff. Um, but do I think that you have to, like for your music example? I don't think you focused on the piano. You focused on music. So you're better at making music. That's like a wider range of things that you do because you can do drums and snares and whatever. I mean, look at me dropping
I
snare knowledge
guess.
here.
I don't know. I
Okay.
mean, I kind of want to push back only because like there's this thing. I mean, I don't really know, but like they say in Asia, you pick your thing at like really young and that's all you do. And so it really
Yeah.
would have been, I'd have been playing the piano. But like I also went to college for art. So like I didn't actually pick music at all.
Oh, interesting.
So
Was your
and
degree was
I
art?
will yeah, sculpture actually. So, but I will use you as an example because you know about lighting and camera work, and you're an editor, and
Mm,
you're a host, you are an actor, a performer in general, a producer. You
hmm
have a wide range of skills, sir. Should so I'm just putting an argument out there that like you shouldn't pick a thing, but I
Entertainment.
also every day question if I should have.
Well, I think we're both disagreeing and agreeing with each other, but
Yeah.
my argument is entertainment. And
Uh,
to counter that, I would say like all those things that I'm well versed in now, they're all in um they feed towards entertainment as an industry. Like if I was doing all that stuff
yeah.
and I'm like moonlighting at the lab trying to find a cure for COVID-19 or some weird stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Are you?
Well, let's keep that under wraps. But like, and I think that there is something to be said for that. Like, I think that people who, the flip side of what I'm saying is that the
The
people who
person that is
focus
just
on,
an editor, right?
right, sometimes a lot of stuff, what's easy about that is you burn out on stuff. So like
Mm.
someone who's just an editor, a lot of times they like doing puzzles or some like sort of pseudo unrelated thing that clicks them out of that and allows them time to, I don't know, just like not think about the thing they're obsessed with. I think that's pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that you pick something, a field to be proficient in, you need to break it down to a lot of different stuff. So I don't know. That's a tough one. There's, I feel like I can't define them, but there are relatively good sort of fields to be well versed in. Like you don't see a lot of like a doctor who moonlights as a and a jazz band or whatever. Eventually, I think you're gonna do one or the other.
Yeah.
But like a jazz band, you wouldn't just play the tambourine. You know what I mean? You'd learn.
Man, that'd be such a good tambourine player. Can you imagine?
Shapa, shapa. Who is that guy, girl? Whatever.
You're a beatboxer, but you only do the tambourine sound.
Focus,
So
just very
focused.
focused. Focused.
Yeah, I guess that like what you're saying, I am focused if we're talking about entertainment.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then if we're
that's
talking
true.
about, specifically piano, I'm not. And then there's even broader where I could be out there trying to do something doctor
Yeah.
related.
Well, art. I mean, that's you're absolutely right. Art is too broad of a focus, or is it? I
Well,
don't know.
everything is.
I'm not that much of an artiste. I mean,
We should just quit everything and be podcasters. That's it. That's all we do.
podcasters. Yeah. Okay. Well, for example, I don't really feel very confident in interviewing someone, but we've done it 50 times now. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
wonder
what the
if I
heck? You got your
actually,
reps in. What are you
I
worried
wonder
about?
if I am now, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I remember you did a freaking great job of hosting whenever we were doing New Year's in Miami. You
Oh,
were thrown
yeah.
into like the a pit of dragons and just arose as their mother. What a weird.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. I was a great dragon mother.
Anyway, I was impressed. They gave
Yeah.
you a mic and a bunch of drunk people and were like, "Well, keep this going." And you were compelling the entire
That was a
time.
weird one. And talk about reps, I had never done that before. I think the only thing I drew on was talking to drunk people at a bar.
Mm.
In which case, I suppose I had
He's been practicing his whole life.
my whole life for this moment.
Uh, well, see, there is it a fixed mindset that you're just born with good hosting, or is it a growth mindset that you're going to get better at it?
I don't know. I guess I need more reps.
More
Let's
reps.
have some more cocktails.
Yeah, right. Man, why don't we get drunk on Total Fit Heads? Let us know in the comments if you want this to be a drunk fitness podcast. Thanks.
That's a great one. Oh, we still got to get you to do vodka pre-workouts.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that.
That was a
Okay.
great
I'm two
one.
seconds away from getting smelling salts because we talk about it so much too.
Oh my god, just order them. You know
Okay.
what's really
Okay.
terrible is now like I find that when I order something on Amazon, I have that feeling of that was productive. That'll help. I just needed that thing, that graph paper. Then now I'll be really productive. You know what I mean? That's a terrible byproduct of, you know. Anyway,
Yeah, no, I know that feeling. Or having like order blank on Amazon on your to-do list, and then like that's the easiest thing to do, and then of
I
course you
know it takes me 2 months.
All right. Oh, wait.
Uh,
I also did want to ask when we were talking about let us know in the comments. Tell us some of your biggest fails. If you're open to disclosing, fitheads, we want to know where you're falling short. Maybe we can help on
hmm,
the podcast, or maybe we've also done it. All right, who are we on? You, me?
probably both.
Oh yeah, I just said figure
Uh, I
skating, so
have
there you go.
a I have a silly one, which is now quarantine has taught me a lot actually about working out. Um, I guess my one is thinking I needed a thinking I needed a specific piece of equipment and letting that limit me in my workouts.
Hmm.
So I got this TRX, and it's fine or whatever. But the most interesting part about it is sort of like figuring out ways to do the exercises I thought I couldn't do. So, for example, the toughest thing about working out at home, for example, for the most part, is normal people, and obviously not you, Ali. Normal people like don't have a squat rack or don't have a barbell or a bench or something like that. They don't have the equipment. So okay, so I can't do incline press
Oh,
anymore because I don't have a
oh,
barbell
right.
and a bench and a bunch of plates and whatever. But the funny thing about the TRX is it sort of makes you just think about, all right, well, how can I do that motion and maybe I don't need a barbell. So now, for example, like if I want to do an overhead press, I used to need huge dumbbells, and I put them on my legs, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then,
Now you're doing handstand push-ups.
now I'm doing handstand push-ups,
Yeah.
and that's once that clicked for me, then I was like, man, I'm such an idiot. Like I thought I couldn't do this, or I thought this exercise wasn't that hard. And I realized I can do a lot more things if I'm just sort of more creative about it. Another example is like a squat. I can do a million air squats. That's not that hard. How many one-legged squats can I do? That really opens up another world for it. Think about a
Mm-hmm.
push-up. I can do a million push-ups. How many one-armed push-ups? Or like now, okay, I can't do a one-arm push-up. That's too hard. I'll just put like a little bit of weight on my other hand, and now I'm really focusing on one. So you break stuff down to what is the movement that my body's doing? How can I make that super hard using minimal equipment or whatever I have around the house? I
Mm-hmm.
you know I don't have enough weight to do squats. Hey, Brittany, hop on my back. You know what I mean? Like I have
Right.
access to a human being. I can do whatever. So limiting myself because of equipment was something that and it's funny because it's so sort of not hypocritical, but all of the strength stuff we did for wrestling, it was just up, here you go. Grab a human being. Okay, now carry him like this. Now carry him like that. Now
Oh,
pick him up a
really?
hundred times. You know what I mean?
Huh.
We would do weight in the gym weights. We would do weight room stuff as we could, but for the most part, it was a lot of we would never do a bench press because when are you going to bench press somebody in wrestling? And you wouldn't
Yeah.
bench press somebody
It's
like
really
that.
rare
You'd get
that's
up
in
to a knee
CrossFit
and
too. It seems
yeah,
really not functional.
it's not functional in the slide, and you're never going to hold someone balanced exactly in
Well,
front of you like
that
that.
one time where you're by a falling rock wall and
Yeah,
you lay
exactly.
down and then a
Right.
rock happens to fall directly on you.
Onto a barbell that happens to
Sure, yes.
the bar clamps on both of the rock splits into two pieces, gets stuck on a telephone pole or whatever, a stop sign. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
all of this stuff we did for wrestling was so functional strength specific, and I guess I just sort of was like done with it or bored with it or whatever, or I was having fun in the weight room or whatever, just because it was novel. So it
Yeah.
was really a sort of a stark reminder when I was like, oh my god, I'm such an idiot. Like I had the ability to do this type of exercise for forever, way before gyms closed, and I just sort of didn't because it was easy, you know. Like
Yeah.
so, and then obviously beyond that, it's like, oh, I can't work out today. My treadmill's broken. It's like, really, is your treadmill broken, or are you just being a lazy bum or whatever, you know? So I think it's sort of a two-parter, but letting equipment, and I guess by extension anything, limit you, but letting equipment has is a big mistake of mine that I let it limit me in ways that it really shouldn't have, and it was just dumb.
Yeah. That's cool. I remember writing like completely different, like quarantine programming whenever they shut gyms down. And I
Hmm.
was like, Now I have push pull leg day, and leg day is like sprinting now, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know. But then a week later, I got a squat rack, so it's fine.
yeah, it's totally fine.
Oops.
It
God, I'm
works,
a jerk.
but it's, you know, and that worked for you, and it was great. But
Yeah.
like, but it really is the like the push-up example was a big one for me because I was like, man, my elbows are sore from doing a million push-ups. But like, what are you doing? Just do how many one-armed push-ups can you do? Oh,
Right.
zero, one. Okay, well, maybe you don't need to do
Yeah, work up to
75
that,
regular
right?
push-ups. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
stupid,
no matter how
but
much weight I put on the bar or how many PRs I get, like there's always one like so many calisthenic things that I'm like nowhere near doing. I
you know,
hate it.
a
Ugh.
muscle up, and you're like,
Yeah. All right. On to my next one. I think is that five yet? Do we get five?
I think between the two of us, we have five.
Oh, okay. I think this is my fifth, or it's either fourth or fifth.
I think this
Whatever.
is your whatever. Just
A billionth. This is the best one, so I saved it for last. I have
go.
high cholesterol. What a freaking fail! Look at that face.
Oh God, that sucks.
Yeah, sucks real bad.
So what do you do about that?
Well, I completely changed my diet. First, I saw a nutrition. Well, first I got retested. Then I saw a nutritionist.
Let's double check this.
Okay. Um, Nutritionist said eat more beans, which ends up actually. Oh wait, where's my levels spiking my blood sugar really poorly? Which so that
Hmm.
was horrible advice. But she said like replaced butter with olive oil, stopped having like bulletproof coffee and started having a ton of avocados, like made all of these big changes.
Hmm.
No red meat, whatever they and did that like committed for 3 months. And then I got retested. And my cholesterol was higher.
Oh,
So that got worse. Anyway, this is a fail of mine. I'm still working through it. It could be genetic, which is then me just saying, like, well, that's a fixed
right. Yeah.
problem, not a growth mindset. So we'll see. But that sucks. Yeah, to be on Instagram like flexing my abs and I have high cholesterol. No one
Yeah.
listened to me. I don't know what I'm doing. My
We
heart
should have
health
got
is
you a
horrible.
walker for your birthday.
Shut up. I by the
I
way, I have one. Found
Nice,
it in the trash and put it in a fitness video. I do dips on it now.
nice, excellent. A friend of mine had high cholesterol, and we've one way or another we figured out he was eating a lot of home oven pizzas, like those frozen pizzas.
And that's what did it?
That's what was. They said that
Because
was what was
everything I've
causing it
read, like
specifically.
diet doesn't make a difference.
I don't know. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Actually, let me ask you this. He came home. He was one of my old roommates. He came home and he was like, "Yeah, I have high cholesterol." And the doctor said it's from these DiGiorno pizzas. Not shout out to DiGiorno, I love you, but you know these were giving him high cholesterol frozen pizzas.
Roulette.
And as he's telling us, he's putting a pizza in the oven. I'm like, what is
Fail.
wrong with you? And he was like, nah, man, I love them. What are you gonna do? And I was like, here's what you're gonna do. You are allowed to eat that frozen pizza. But the next time I see you in my kitchen making a frozen pizza and I know that it's literally gonna kill you, I'm gonna spit on your pizza. And he was like, I love it. Awesome, dude. Definitely do it. Yeah, yeah, that'll get me in shape. That'll like keep my mind right. He's one of those guys that like loves it in the moment. But guess what?
Hmm.
Next time he put a frozen pizza in the oven, I was like, dude, I'm I'm gonna spit on your pizza. Remember I told you that? And remember you absolutely told me to do it? And he was like, dude, don't you dare do that. I will kill you. Like, I've had such a long day, blah, 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 blah. I
Dang.
didn't do it. I wussed out. I didn't spit on his
See, I'm
pizza.
that guy
But
unless I fix it.
yeah, what
Uh,
was I being a bad friend by not spitting on his pizza?
oh right.
I always think about that.
That's funny. Yeah, do you trust the first person that you talk to or the later person that's like, "No, I didn't mean it."
I think you trust the later person because then the later person's gonna come back. The next
hmm
later person's gonna yell at you for one reason or another, and you're like, "Sure, man, I'll do it. I swear, next time."
Yeah, that's why I
So
hate
what do
being an
you?
accountability coach.
So what do you do for high cholesterol? So that means your heart's gonna blow up, right?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
not gonna
Explode.
work. Your
Totally
heart's gonna
explode. I hope it
explode.
happens on Valentine's Day this year. Well, so the next
It's
step
really
I think for
romantic.
me is so annoying because the reason I'm doing this is Instagram comments and or no, actually YouTube comments. Is people are like,
Uh huh.
vegetarian diet, go vegan. That's it. You can't have high cholesterol if you're vegan.
That
Impossible. And
sucks.
I'm like, well, I don't want to be DiGiorno pizza guy,
I
so
bet
I'm
they're
gonna
right
freaking
too.
do it. I'm gonna go vegan for no, I'm saying it now. I don't have to do it. I'm going vegan for a month to see what happens. There we go. That feels great. Now
For a
I won't
month.
do it. Yeah, I want to commit to 30 days
Check.
at least. Yeah, right. Probably should do more. Or is this like meditating
It's
where I
gonna
do a
be
month and I'm like, did
great.
it do anything?
I bet you're gonna. I hate it. I bet you're gonna love it. I bet you're gonna feel
You
great.
think?
I
I can't
completely.
get where am I gonna get protein? I know that's like the common problem, but I am like allergic to soy, so I can't even do that.
Beans and tofu
Beans
and
are carbs. I hate that people say beans are protein.
no, that's
Beans
what I'm
are
saying.
carbs that happen to
Veg
have protein.
vegan people say I get a ton of it from beans and tofu, and that's it. And I'm like,
Soy's
okay.
tofu. I can't do that.
What about what is it, garbanzo beans? Aren't those a thing?
Yeah, they're fatty too and carby. And
Look at
so
my vegetable knowledge.
I yeah, look at you. Well, what about chickpeas? They're the same
Yeah.
thing, sir. Um,
Um,
here's what I am interested to
can you
see
just do shakes?
that like my levels are gonna go nuts because now I'm not just eating like
Yeah.
protein, it's protein and like a ton of bean carbs, which by the way, beans spiked me.
Beans are
So I didn't
terrible.
mention
I really don't believe anyone. People talk about beans the way they talk about religion or the way they talk about beans are the greatest thing, and
that.
if you're
Maybe
not
for
eating
them.
beans, you're gonna do it. And they mess up your stomach. They don't work for everybody. I'm sorry. And then, but people are like, oh well, you just got to get over the hump. It's just that first week of that'll really mess up your stomach. But if you get over the hump, really good for your gut health. And you're like, okay, well, how long is the hump? A year, 2 years? Like, what are you talking about?
Someone who has a peanut allergy and it goes anaphylaxis. Well, you just gotta get over the hump.
Yeah.
Peanuts are great, just get over the hump. He's dying in the hospital.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sleeping altogether. It's gonna suck for a couple of days, but once you get over that hump, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be fine.
Super efficient.
So I don't believe bean people. I think bean people are some of the worst people out there. Shout out to the evil bean
Bean
industry. I feel like
people, let us know in the comments where you at.
I don't believe you for a second. I think you're all ridiculous. Beans are horrible. I don't know where you're gonna get protein, and it sucks too because you can't really do shakes. I mean, who were we talking about? Stanimal was like you have to eat your
Yeah.
like you can't drink your protein or you have
Yeah.
to eat your foods or something. Chewing foods unlocks their awesome power.
I have someone to do it for me, actually. Just make sure it gets chewed,
Just baby bird
not
it.
by
Yeah,
me.
that's smart.
I'm busy.
That
Ew.
sucks. Ugh, veggie.
Yeah, well, you doing it with me or what?
If you
No,
can
not
figure out
veggie,
something to
vegan. I'm
eat.
going full vegan.
Oh, full
See,
V.
if I go vegetarian, I could just like chug egg whites.
Are eggs vegetarian? Or I always
Oh,
mix
I
that
think it
up.
is that you need to go vegan. People don't say go vegetarian and it'll bring your cholesterol down. I think
Yeah,
it is really
vegetarian
full
is
vegan.
so 2007. Fucking losers. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
ugh, that sucks, but it's gonna be
it's
great for
vegan
you.
light.
You're gonna look and feel great, and you're
I
gonna
doubt it.
hate
I
it.
seriously, and it's in my head that I'm gonna lose muscle mass and like have a bunch of like metabolic problems from it, and so that's gonna happen because I believe it. My body's gonna make it
Probably.
happen. Ugh. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
the
go back
people
to
who
vegan.
look good that are vegan are very slender. Now that I'm thinking about it,
I know. Well, I was gonna say I know some fat vegetarians. I don't know about vegans. Yeah, yeah. I know some unfit vegans. It's not like guaranteed that if you're vegan you're healthy and fit. You could eat garbage. You could chug canola oil and
Can you eat like Cheetos?
I don't know. No, there's cheese in it,
There's cheese in that, right?
but it's like
But is it real
processed
cheese
cheese
or is it
food.
cheese flavored powder?
Yeah.
Like how all those movie theaters got in trouble and they had to start saying it's butter flavoring instead of
Yeah.
butter. It's disgusting.
Yeah, that's great for cholesterol.
Uh, well, congratulations on being newly vegan.
Shut up.
Let us know how it goes.
Oh, God. Of course it's going to be for a video.
It's gonna be great, and you're gonna hate it. I'm calling it right now.
I thought you said I was love it. Oh, it's going to be great. I mean, I'll love it and I'll be mad that I love it
It's
so
gonna
much.
be great, and you're gonna hate it. You're gonna look good, feel good. You're gonna have energy. You're gonna lose fat, like, and it's just gonna be so lame.
I mean,
The
I
worst.
guess I could potentially just bring my protein intake down, but I hate to change two variables.
I wouldn't do
Right?
that.
Right. Yeah, right.
You,
Look, you get
you
terrified for me.
dude. That's the most important one.
Uh,
I would do that. Good luck.
thanks.
Thanks.
All right. So, did you have any left?
Not really. I had one that was just like it was a gym fail more than a
The
life
time you dropped
fail.
a
Yeah,
barbell on your foot.
yeah, yeah. Well, I have a couple of stories like that, but one of my favorite ones was uh I was at this Gold's gym once, and I don't know what it's called, but it's like a freestanding. It looks like a squat rack in that it's just two metal things, and then so it has a pull-up bar on one side,
Yeah.
and then on the opposite side it has two dip bars. You
Okay.
with me?
Yeah.
So you do pull-ups on one side, and you get down, you walk around to the other side, and you do dips. So one time I'm in the gym. This isn't really this is a failure. It's awesome. One time I'm in the gym, and I'm like getting psyched up to do dips, and I'm like really just like let's go, let's do this. You know, I got the belt and everything. And I
Weighted dips. Ooh.
Yeah, so I turn around, and I do dips, and I hop on the thing, and then I look up, and I see a body, and I look up a little bit more, and it's another guy on the opposite side doing pull-ups on the pull-up bar, and we both sort of look up at each other, and we're just eye to eye, like going like up and down, you know. And I'm like, oh, this is weird, but I'm in the middle of my set, and I don't know how to do this. And I could tell he was doing that. He was like, oh, I shouldn't get on this pull-up bar, but I can't stop now. And we're just like making eye contact while doing our up and down workouts, and it was just the weirdest thing in the world. And I like dropped the weight, and I was like, yeah, that's it, I gotta hit the showers, you know. I just like booked it out of there because that was like so weird. I never saw him again, and I think about him all the time, but you know. So that was my gym. That was my last gym fail.
What a weird setup. I wonder how often that's happened to other people if they've got them put like that.
It's such, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird thing to happen, and I'm so happy it happened to me. But it was a bizarre turn of events for sure.
That guy's podcasting right now talking about it.
The guy's like, yeah, what a weirdo. And he stared me right in the face.
Must have been his last set because he left immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he moved out of the state.
Love it. All right. Well, it's been lovely talking through all of our awful unsuccesses.
Yeah, it was great.
We have some awesome guests coming up, including.
Yeah, we got a couple of good ones. Don't spoil it.
Okay,
we'll just tease them.
Subscribe, stay tuned. Please rate and review. That makes a big difference for us. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, let us know some of your fails, perhaps. And we'll see you next Wednesday.